Hey guys, oh jeez. Hey guys, welcome to Jase Outdoors. I am Jason. In this video, I'm going to be unboxing and running a few tests on the new Tactacam Reveal X. So before I jump into the box, this video is just a little bit more about the new functions to this camera as opposed to their first camera. If you were fortunate enough to get one of those, you know how awesome it was. And from what I understand, they became really difficult to find. So this is just more about what's new with the camera. I'll run a few tests with it. As far as, you know, downloading an app, creating an account, all that stuff is, I'll leave a link in the description for the first video because it's all the same. It uses the same app. There are a few new functions in the app that will go with this camera, so I will go through that as well. As far as image quality and all that, I won't get too in depth with, although I'll leave some samples at the end of this video. Look in the description for time codes. You can jump to the sample images and video, but it's pretty much the same as the first one. I don't know this for a fact, but I think it's the same sensor. From what I've seen, the images look the same, the videos are the same. So I won't go too far into that, but this is just more about what's new and how to operate this camera. Let's just jump right into the box here. Antenna, the unit itself, strap, the instruction manual. So right off the bat, it's a little smaller than the first version. It's probably a little deeper because I think they stacked the batteries in here. There's a battery tray. It still takes 12 AA batteries. But I love how the IR sensors here are, it's broken up. So it's not just one big solid black screen there, you know, on the tree. I feel like that's one thing that sticks out the most on, blackout IRs is just the big blackness of it. So this is broke up. It's a lot smaller. I feel like that's going to hide a little bit better on a tree. The antenna now has more of like a design on it to just kind of break it up. I think the other one was just solid black, and I thought that became really difficult to hide too. So a few changes here that I really like. It's not solid black. And coming on the side here on the latch, they now have a lock here, so you can, put your Python lock. It'll go right through the latch on the door, so you can lock it all together to protect your, SIM card, SD card. Another thing that I think is great, they put some thought into this. Your 1/4-20 thread that I always use a third-party mount. I actually make my own. I'll leave a link in the description for that as too. They work great. Being on the back end of the camera is so helpful when hanging the cameras with a third-party mount. When ones that are just kind of in the middle, I can't ever seem to get a bracket far enough to keep it away from the tree. So being that this is at the very back, I should be able to, tuck this into wherever I need to. You also have a 1/4-20 thread here in the middle. So we'll just jump right inside. The latch is so much easier to use. And there's not even an LCD screen on this at all. So you'll end up connecting Wi-Fi to your phone, and then you'll be able to change your settings, right there in the field before you leave. And you should be able to get a live look from what I understand. You should be able to change your settings, after you leave the woods. It sometimes takes up to 24 hours to do so, but you should be able to do everything remotely. So now you just have your cell signal strength, battery power, Wi-Fi, your SD card, and the status of the camera. You have a test button, and your eject button here is for your battery tray. That now comes out the back, so it's a little tight. But yeah, so now you have a tray. It still takes 12 batteries. It says it right here on the bottom. And so that allowed the camera to shrink a little bit, but it might be just, like I said, a little deeper. So we'll throw some batteries in this and an SD card and fire this thing up. I'm using a 32 gig Class 10 SD card by SanDisk. You want to make sure you get a Class 10 card. Put the switch one notch up to set up. It'll take a second here to search for signal. So you're going to want to add this camera to your account. Again, if you check out the other video, it explains more how to download that and set up an account. But this, I already have it all set up, so you just open the app. You're going to go down here to cameras and add another camera. So you hit that little plus symbol there, and it asks you which one it is, the Reveal or the Reveal X. Of course, it's the Reveal X. We hit continue. So you're going to register it. You got to scan the QR code on the door. So we're going to scan the QR code. Find that. Ooh, and it finds it fast. You can name the camera. Select the location that you will set previously, and you're going to register that camera. Still going. Activation complete. So it's been successfully activated. Please restart your camera by turning it to off, and then turn it back on to verify cellular service. So we're going to turn that off. We'll hit dismiss there and turn this back up to setup. So now hopefully when I go back into the app here, it's going to be right where I had named it, and there it is. There's your settings. We'll go through these in a minute. So the one thing that is different with this camera, it has Wi-Fi capabilities now. We can connect that straight to your phone, and where I should be able to change the settings. So you're going to want to go into your connections settings, look for Wi-Fi, make sure you turn that on, and then once you go into there, you should see Reveal and the model of that camera. You're going to click that and enter password. Password is right here inside the door. It's basically Reveal 2021. It's probably the same for all of them. So capital R. All right, so there I'm connected without internet. Internet may not be available, so if you're on Android, make sure you hit stay connected. We're going to go back to the app. So when you connect to the Wi-Fi on this, it's going to tell you you have poor internet connection because your Wi-Fi is connected to the camera, and of course it doesn't have internet capabilities. So it's not going to show your cameras listed anywhere on there. You go to this little guy looking thing, your profile, to your actually your account, and then down here you'll see connect to Reveal X, so, / Wi-Fi. You're going to click that, and this should connect, there it is, to the camera, and then you get a live view of what you see. So this way, when you're setting this up on the tree, you know exactly what you're looking at. So this red line that you see right here on the middle of your screen is basically the detection zone. So you want that to be on the deer trail or where you want to capture the movement. I can't tell you how many times guys say that their camera's not picking up things right, and they'll have it leaning on the tree backwards. So really your sensor is kind of more on an angle upwards as it goes out, and sometimes deer would walk right underneath it and it will never pick it up. So this red line is actually, I feel like it's not hard to see the center of the image, but it really kind of helps you when you're setting things up. I usually set my cameras up high, and if I'm trying to watch a run, you want to make sure that that is hitting right where you want it to detect motion. So it's kind of nice that that's there. So down here at the bottom, you have format SD card, which I recommend doing every single time you have a new card. So we're just going to format it for the first time, and hopefully I won't have to mess with it after that. Successfully formatted. Then your camera settings. So here's where you'll change all your settings. So you have your camera mode, photo and video, image size 8, 12, or 16. We're going to put that up to 16. This is new here, motion sensitivity. So they actually have 9 different levels of sensitivity. It defaults at 7. I'm just going to leave it at that for now until I have a better idea what it does. Work timer I leave off. Delay I'm going to leave off. Delay is basically, in between detection, how long it takes to take the next photo. SD loop, that just means that once you fill up your card, it'll start over again. So you don't ever have to worry about formatting this after this. Flash power is high. Night mode. So you have minimum blur, where it's going to have a faster shutter speed so that, at nighttime, a lot of times you get the blurry movement, but the flash is not going to reach as far. Then there's maximum range, where you might get a lot more blur. So I like to go right in the middle, balanced. On the last one, it seemed to work pretty well. Settings check. If you leave that to daily, apparently it saves more battery life. If you leave it on instant, the camera has to stay awake to receive that information when you change your settings. So I usually leave it on daily. You have video size, goes up to 1080p, video length, battery type, we'll change that to lithium since that's what I have in there. And check-in picture, I guess you can have it send you a photo so you know what it's doing. So that is it. So once I change those, it automatically changes that directly in the camera. So that's why you don't have the use for the LCD screen anymore. They just did away with it completely. You do it all here, and it's nice to be able to see what you're getting once you put this on a tree. On the first one, everything was on the inside of the door, so when you opened it, you were now looking at the back of the tree and couldn't even see what you were looking at. So this is pretty cool. So then you just go back to your home screen. Again, it's not going to say you have anything in your feed, so go up and turn your Wi-Fi off. It's disconnected. And now when I refresh this by sliding down, everything comes back. So my camera should be back. I have a couple other ones from in there and a couple deactivated ones. So now when you go back into your settings, we'll turn this to on. I have noticed that you have different settings as opposed to when you were connected to a Wi-Fi. I'm not sure why that is, but if you go in here, now there's multi-shot. You can go up to 3 pictures. There's multi-shot intervals. So this is actually pretty cool. When you set your interval to take 3 photos, it would just 3 photos in a row, bam, bam, bam. And really the first photo wasn't a whole lot different from the last photo because it happened so fast. Now when it detects, you can set an interval in there, so when it takes a photo, you can set it to do 5 seconds before that next one goes, and then it'll be 5 seconds for the third one to go. So other than that, all the settings are the same. You just, you hit apply settings, and it will tell you it could take up to 24 hours to do so. I really don't know why the multi-shot and the multi-shot interval is not on there when you're connected Wi-Fi. I have to see if I can understand that. Maybe I'll write to them. So then hit apply settings. It will say it takes up to 24 hours. I hit apply, and we'll go back. Let's just see if I can get it to take a photo while we're here. All right, there I got 2 photos sent to me. I think it took a little while because I just had to refresh the app by pulling down because I was already in the app. You will get notified if you're out of the app through push notifications, and there I'm getting another one. So I'm getting photos sent to me right now, so we'll turn this off so I'm not burning up too much. So the one thing I want to test out here real fast is the thing I'm most anxious about is the recovery time. So for now, for this test, for recovery time, what I mean by that is how long it takes to send the next photo after it already sent the first one. Again, the last one, I was a little disappointing. It was like 30-40 seconds. I feel like you can miss an awful lot of stuff happening after the first time the camera was tripped. So we're going to see what this one can do. And to really gauge how well it works, we're going to set the delay to 5 seconds. And I'm going to move around in front of the camera for exactly 2 minutes. And, if it were to work exactly perfect every time, I should get up to 23 photos. I know it's not going to be that, so we're going to see what this can do. I'm going to just set this up right here. I'm going to set the camera in front. I'm going to walk around here behind me. All right, so we're just going to give it a minute to send all those photos. And I was getting them sent to my phone as I was going back and forth, and whew, I'm out of breath. So we're going to see how many we get here. So just looking at the results here real fast on the app, we're going to go to the first picture it took, and we'll zoom in and look down at the timestamp, and it says 11:41 and 29 seconds. So if we go to the next picture that was taken, it's 11:41 and 52 seconds. So it took 23 seconds around there to send the photo after it took the first one. So you knock off the 5-second delay that we have on there, and it's about 17, 18 seconds. So 11:41 and 52 seconds, The next picture is 11:42 and 16 seconds. And then to that one is 11:42 and 41 seconds. They consistently seem to be 20-some seconds. Now I have really good reception here, and I think that has a lot to do with it. If you don't have very good reception, I think it takes even longer to send those photos. So in the end of that 2 minutes of me nonstop moving with a 5-second interval, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 photos sent to me. I don't know. I was hoping for something a little bit better. Well, so I'll get this thing out on a tree and see what it can do in the real world. So I'm going to just throw this up here on a tree real fast just to run a couple tests with the camera. And by the way, this is the mount that I was talking about that I make my own. I will leave a link in the description for this. They're awesome. I think they're great. It allows you to get on trees like this that are leaning. They're cheap. I mean, really, what more can you ask for? Spin that on, and then you just tighten the wing nut under here, and then you can adjust your up and down, and then lock it tight, and you're good to go. See how this thing does. For this test, I stuck an orange bucket out at exactly 20 yards just for a reference point. I started walking back and forth at the 20-yard mark and continued to get further away. That big tree in the back is exactly 30 yards. The camera had no problem detecting me in between that, but I didn't seem to get any past the tree. So the detection range on this is right around 90 feet, which is pretty good. I started making my way back towards the camera, and the camera worked perfectly. Running across in front of the camera, the trigger speed is fast enough that I did not make it through, even at a close distance. Continuing going back and forth, no problems. The photos were being sent to me as I was walking around. I then switched it from photo mode to photo and video mode, which are the only two options, being that the camera only sends the photos. So it takes a photo when motion is detected and then records video after that. In the event that something runs by your camera, it does get the photo, but it's clearly gone by the time the video starts recording. This camera does not send video, so you do have to go pull your card to check the video files. When connected with Wi-Fi to the camera from your phone, it does not display the video files either. So one new feature to the app that is really nice is you can now request HD photos, whereas before you could not. And so, you know, if you have something pretty far in the back and you zoom in to it, as you can see, it gets really pixelated. So now you can request a high-res image. And to do that, you long press on the photo, the thumbnail, and it highlights it. And then down here you can either delete it or hit the HD button. I have not done this yet. You're about to request 1 HD photos. There's a $5 charge for every 50 HD photos. That's on par with a lot of the other companies. So I don't use it a whole lot, but every now and then I'd like to zoom in. So we're going to give this a shot. We'll hit yes. I don't know what's happening. It's just spinning here. I wouldn't think it should take this long, but it's been a couple minutes now. What is happening? All right, so I'm having issues, apparently. Okay, I don't know what just happened there. It just got stuck. So I closed out the app and reopened it and tried it again, and it worked instantly that time. So 1 photo was requested successfully. They will be sent to your HD photo gallery during the next camera check-in period. So, well, that could be a long time from now. All right, well, that kind of stinks, so I'm going to have to wait for it to come through. This could be a while. So while I wait for that photo, which could be another day, I will go through the data plans. Tactacam has, you know, one of the cheaper ones out there. It's reasonable. So you go to your account, manage plan, and then you can change your plans right here. So you have a monthly pro version. It's $13 a month, and you get unlimited photos for that. Then scroll over one to the intermediate plan. It gets you 500 photos for $8 a month, and then a starter plan for $5 a month, and that gets you 250 photos. How it works if you have more than 1 camera, I have 4 of them out now. So I have the $5 a month for 250 photos. So that is 1,000 photos that I get to share with all 4 cameras. So if you have one that just gets a lot of action, and you might burn 500 photos from that one camera, you can still split the other 500 through the other 3 cameras. There's an overage protection down here that you can turn on or off, so if you use up all your photos, it'll automatically bill you another $5 for 250 photos for all the cameras that you have. So I finally got the HD file sent to me, and it only took like 8 or 9 hours before I got it. Literally, it took 8 or 9 hours. I don't know what it was. I lost track. But it did come in, and I just wanted to show you the difference between the two. So the thumbnail that is sent to you, this is as far as I can zoom in. Obviously, you can make me out back there, but the orange bucket, everything is pretty grainy. It's hard to really see what's going on there. So if we zoom over to the high def photo and zoom into this image, you can see how much further you can zoom into that with a lot more detail. So my final thoughts on this camera is a lot like the last camera. I think this camera is great. For the price range, around $120, the plans are reasonable. This camera, as far as the photos, the image go, they are awesome. The nighttime photos are awesome. Of course, the daytime photos are great. The video is good. The PIR sensor, there's really no issues there. I mean, it performed as expected. It's good. The new upgrades, I think, are awesome. Just being able to connect Wi-Fi and at least get a live view before you leave the woods. You can know exactly what you're looking at. There's a little more control and a few more options in it. So I like all the upgrades. The design, I think, is really good. I really like this camera. The only downside is the recovery time. I just, 23 seconds seems to be the magic number for sending the photos. So I just feel like that's just a little too long. I mean, you almost need something in front of the camera to stop the deer. If, a mock scrape maybe, or of course, if you have, corn pile or something, bait pile there, it's not an issue. But I just feel like you're going to miss an awful lot with 23 seconds. There's a lot that can happen after the first time that camera's tripped. And actually, my phone is going off right now. I got something being sent to me. Oh, there it is. I got a doe in the mid-afternoon. It's almost noon right now, and I got deer moving right this second. So this photo just came in, and that is the beauty of these cameras. It is nice to not have to go pull cards. Hey guys, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask. I do the best I can to answer all your questions. Any experiences that you've had with this camera, feel free to share them with me. I like to hear the different scenarios and what other people have found. So please, write to me in the comments. Check the links below. So I'll see you guys next time right here at Jase Outdoors.